Hi everyone, this is Ray at Whitney Auto in Fredericksburg, Virginia again. We specialize in Mazda vehicles here, and we've been making a series on the 2004 RX8. In our last video we showed you how to remove the SSV from your car. In this video here we're going to show you the differences between the original part, the Mazda updated part, how to check it, how to clean it, and how to replace the bushing if necessary. Now if you find that you need a bushing, Mazda doesn't make the part available, but we do have available on the website, so head over to the website. Again, I also always appreciate those of you who subscribe to the channel and like the video. Helps me out and helps continue the project. So here's our second part of the SSV video, the checking and cleaning and repair of the SSV. Alright, let's take a look at the differences between the old-style SSV and the new-style SSV, the updated Mazda part. First off, if you're looking at the bodies of them here, you can see we all know that carbon was a big issue. You can see this one has all of these crevices and gaps here, whereas the new style is much more streamlined. This is to prevent carbon from building up in those crevices. As you can see, they still get carboned and they do need cleaning, but there's less big places for big chunks to build up, and then when those big chunks build up and it gets stuck and then we free them up, then we have even more problems. So that's the main difference, is the body of it there. Looking at the back side of it, you can see that the actuators are visibly different. The newer style one here is much larger, and it also has an extra mounting bolt. The old style only has one mounting bolt holding it in right here with an alignment peg. The new style here has two, one that you use to take it out of the vehicle with, and the other one that stays in place regardless. Now the last change that's just obvious is going to be this grommet right here. On the new style it's a hardened plastic, and on the old style you have a rubber grommet, and as you can see this one itself is even worn out. Again, here we have two of the old style SSVs, as you can see, because they have the notches and the one mounting pin on the actuator assembly. What happens with these older ones, they have the rubber grommet, as I said, and the rubber grommet can sometimes deteriorate. What happens when it deteriorates is, as this actuator is trying to turn this lever all the way, it's not finding its fully open or fully closed spot. This one here is actually in good working order. There's a little bit of play, but not much. All I'm doing to check the play is to wiggle the shaft on it while holding the lever or the body of the SSV still. This one, as you can see, has a lot of play in it. This bushing is almost completely gone. Now this is something that can be replaced inside the car, although Mazda does not offer, or at this time Mazda does not offer a replacement bushing for it. If you head over to WhitneyAutoRepair.com, I can get you one of them. I have them available. They're pretty easy to install. All we're going to do is use a pick or a small screwdriver to pop off this horseshoe clip. Again, this can be done inside the car. Try not to drop that clip if you're doing it in the car. And then you're going to pull off the actuator. As you can see, this bushing is completely deteriorated. Half of it's actually missing, and it's very hard. I have a new bushing here. As I said, I have these available on the website. Sometimes it's good to put a little bit of lubricating oil on them, help them slip on a little bit better. Alright. I like to install it on the actuator first, which can be a little bit of a pain, but you just squeeze it in there. And you use your pick to make sure it's fully seated. So you see there's a lip on both sides of it. Without that lip, it'll slip right off. Then you're going to reinstall it on the actuator, or I'm sorry, on the valve. Take your horseshoe clip, set it in place, and you can use a small pair of pliers to pinch it back on. As you can see now, there is no play in that rod whatsoever. Now let's take a look at this contact switch. All this switch is going to do is tell us whether or not this actuator is actually opening and closing. It's just a tattletale switch to tell the computer whether or not it's turning. Alright, it's a simple contact switch. When it's not touching anything, when the lever here isn't touching it, it should be no continuity throughout the switch, and when it's pushed close, it should close the contacts in the switch, and you should have continuity through the switch. Very low resistance, usually under 2 ohms. So let's show you how to test it here. It's a 2-pin. If you can look in here, I don't know if we can catch it on the camera. It's a 2-pin connector. So just for the sake of demonstration here, I put a pair of jumper wires on, one on each pin and then one to each lead. And then we put my meter on ohms. Now we can close the contacts in the switch, and you'll see that it goes to 1.1 ohms. So we know that this switch is in good working order. The next part we're going to check is our actuator. We're going to do that by plugging a vacuum line in here and hooking it to our hand vacuum pump. We're then going to hold the SSV at the base here, and I'm going to pump up my hand vacuum pump, and as you can see, the SSV is opening. The valve is twisting open. I'm going to pump it up to about 15 inches of mercury. Leave it there. What I'm checking for now is to make sure that my needle is not dropping. If the needle starts dropping, that means we have an internal leak, diaphragm leak in our actuator, and that would have to be fixed. The other thing that we're going to look for is just that the actuator is moving, it is opening fully, we don't have play in the rod, and then we can let the vacuum off and make sure that it closes. One more time, open, and closed. This is the SSV we removed from the Project 2004 RX8. Now, as you can see, it does have the updated style, so it must have been replaced at some time. In order to clean it, I always recommend using some kind of carb cleaner or a gum cutter or something like that. I'm just going to use this Chem Dip carburetor cleaner. All I'm going to do, because I'm a mechanic and I always have bottles of some sort laying around, I'm just going to measure out exactly how far I would need it to be. Cut the top off of this. Test fit it. Looks perfect. I'm going to fill it with a little Chem Dip and then let this soak. Now, this Chem Dip recommends that it sits for 15 to 30 minutes. Regardless of what you use, you're going to want to use it a decent amount of it, but you're going to want to make sure you don't get it on your actuator or your switch. Doing so can cause damage to those two parts, and you don't want them to go bad while you're fixing something else. And regardless of what chemical you use, elbow grease is going to be the most important part of this recipe. Even when I take it out of here, I'm going to still have to clean off some things. It's been soaking a while, so let's take it out. You'll see that already that most of the deposits are gone. There's a little bit here in these edges and these cavities, and we will scrape them out with a soft brush. I'm just using the pick to show, really. You also want to make sure that all around here gets clean as well as here. Without this, you're not going to get it fully seated if you have a bunch of carbon buildup here on the end bearing. So there we have it. In the first video, I showed you how to take out the SSV. In the second video, I'm telling you how to check it, clean it, and repair it, whether it be the original style or the updated part. Now, that's just part of the videos that we have now, and we are continuously making videos, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you found this video at all helpful, please go ahead and click like. The website again is www.whitneyautorepair.com, and we're located in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So if you drive an RX8 or any kind of Mazda and you're looking for some service work, please go ahead and check us out. I do appreciate it, and I am always looking for new customers. So once again, thanks for watching.